I'm being sucked into the polar vortex. Holy crap!
After the last 3 vids I put up, I've got a slew of questions on my hot tent system. The tent itself, the stove jack, just a bunch of questions I think I can answer here in a vid real quick. I've got vids up like how to construct the stove itself, and I've got different vids up of me using the tent at different times a year. But I don't think I have one, you know, actual use in the wintertime and a complete vid on it, so I'm going to try to do that now. The tent itself is from Sportsman's Guide. It's called the Lodge tent. It's 12 by 12. It's got a center height of about 8 by 10 and 16 pounds. And it costs $71.99. I'll leave the link for it down below. The tent's been a real good winter tent for me, and cheap as well. It's got the right slope for winter use. Snow kind of falls right off. And it's really wind worthy too. I've been out and sustained 20-mile-an-hour winds, 25, 30-mile-an-hour gusts. And it's tied down well. It's a good tent for winter use. One of the little changes that I made when I first got the tent is that the tie downs just tie directly to the loop on the tent itself, and just to help with abrasion, I put a little S-binder on all the corners that the tie downs connect to. Another thing I did is that the stakes that came with the tent are perfectly useless, so I replaced them right away with military issue aluminum stakes. And I drilled a hole in the middle of each one of them in case you want to make them into snow anchors. And although I do recommend this for winter camping, I don't recommend it for rainy weather. There's a lot of equipment that you can use in every situation, and then there's other equipment that is really mission specific. Boots and tents are 2 good examples of mission specific equipment. This isn't good in rainy weather, it does leak. A good winter tent is durable enough to take high winds, and really what you're using it for is to keep the wind off you. The design of the doors and the other window is not good because it collects the rain down into some of the seams and it'll leak in. It's not a big leak, but it'll collect little pools of water. Not that I haven't spent a few rainy nights to know about this, and I was on a cot, so it really didn't bother me. But if you're on the ground, it might get some of your stuff wet. It's very quick and easy to set up as well. There's 6 short poles that go up in each one of these corners. And then there's one main pole in the middle, and you basically just stake it out around the corners of the tent, and then put up your main pole and then your short poles, and then stake the guidelines out, and you're done. And it's quick. I mean, it's less than 3 minutes. Got a bathtub style floor in it. The advertisement says it'll hold 6 people, and I guess if you stack them up in here, that's true. But an honest judgment on this is 2 guys and a dog and their equipment, especially for winter camping. It's also got a couple vents up here, and that really does help for condensation in the wintertime. And then you can unzip this this window here and unzip your door window a little bit too, just to keep the moisture flowing out of here in the winter. The bottom line is this is a good tent for the money. The one thing I do not like about this tent is the design that it uses to keep rain out of the zippers. There's a flap that hangs over the zippers, and then the rain rolls down the flap and away from the zippers. And this material is made out of the same material that the tent is made out of. So whenever you're going up or down with the zipper, what eventually happens is the zipper bites into that flap. So eventually you get good at holding the flap away while you're unzipping or zipping down, but it's a pain in the butt. Now I would find this to be a major flaw in most tents, except that this one's $71. So I guess I'll just have to get over it. You learn to work with it, but what I'm going to do to remedy it is I'm going to glue a hardier nylon webbing all the way down this flap, so that way it will not get caught in the zipper. I've been meaning to do that. I actually meant to do that this year, but never got around to it. And like I said, you just learn to work with it. But by gluing a heavier nylon webbing, you know, like a belt webbing, onto this flap, it would make it too thick for this thing to bite into it, and that would probably fix the problem. Now I get a lot of questions about my stove jack, and I don't know why. You can buy stove jacks all over the internet, even on eBay. I bought mine from Outfitter Supply, and I'll leave the link down below. They're usually made out of asbestos or silicone or rubber or a mix of all 3 of those. This one's made out of silicone. It's got a rubber ring. Comes in 3 different sizes, 4, 6, and 8 inch. 35 bucks. Link is down below. And to put it in, I just cut the diameter out, and then I do use some glue and I sew it in. That's it. Done. Now the stove itself, I've already done a video about that, and I'm going to leave that link down below. It's pretty easy to construct. It's lasted a long time. I use 3-inch pipe on top. That seems to be you know, the perfect amount of airflow for this little stove. I usually cut you know, branches or scrap wood, whatever I can get into small pieces. The bigger the chunks, the better, because they last longer. And it'll throw out an amazing amount of heat. I mean, you've already seen that in my last vids. I can get it to be 90 degrees in here where you're just sweating it out. Before I go to sleep, the big thing is just to pack it up with as much wood as possible and then turn it down, you know, just to get it to simmer all night. It'll usually hold about 50 degrees. Staying out in the wintertime, especially long term, takes bringing more stuff in, and that's where the Pulk sled comes in. Now I have a great vid on how to make your own Pulk sled. I've made a couple of these. I'll leave that link down below as well. I don't carry any of this stuff on my back. It all goes on the Pulk sled. In a lot of ways, winter camping is easier, to be honest with you, if you're properly prepared. And you can carry a lot more stuff, and you can carry it effortlessly with a good Pulk sled. The bottom line is you can put a pretty good winter camping system together on a fairly low budget. And it works great. It'll keep you warm. You got to be willing to work with the tent. You got to be able to customize it yourself, and if you're willing to do that, you can save yourself hundreds of dollars. A good winter, just the tent itself, a good winter tent, costs you maybe $900 to $1,000. I'm not kidding you. But this one will work for you, 71 bucks, and you'll be nice and warm. The key to having a tent too is just not all about comfort. It's actually a great way to save time. This is easy to put up, easy to take down. It's very portable. If I even had to build a small shelter in the woods every night, you know, if I was moving every night, it would take a lot more time, a lot more energy that you would have to spend doing that rather than just putting your tent up. And some people are never going to understand it, but there's nothing like winter camping. The solitude and beauty of it is incredible. Some people will never get to experience it. I feel sorry for them. I wouldn't trade this for a beach. If you get a chance to do this, get out there and try it. You won't regret it.